Today we shall be having conversations to do with the future of real estate investment. Susan Njoka, Indirect Sales Manager, VAAL Real Estate. Karibu sana. And so we also expecting Victor Ndegwa, Customer Relations Lead, VAAL Real Estate. And Siti, what's the proverb of the day?
Our proverbs for the whole of this week are from the Republic of Angola. Angola is a former Portuguese colony, so it's a Lusophone country. It's interesting. It's in the west central part of Africa, okay? And it is bordered by Namibia, DRC, Zambia, and of course the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah, Atlantic. This continent, we have Atlantic on one side, then we have Indian Ocean on the other side. Then we have a small sea somewhere up there called Mediterranean. We're not doing too badly.
No.
But while we're doing, we also have Lake Victoria somewhere. Now, the proverb. A real journey begins in old age. That's the proverb.
Yes.
We always ask our guests to tell us what they think this proverb means.
Interesting. A real journey starts at old age. To me, what I would think it means is, as you continue with life, you always think that you know everything. Yeah. I think the younger you are, the more you think you know. And as time goes on, you realize, oh, okay, there were people with a bit more wisdom than I had. And if I had listened, I would have done things a little bit more differently. So as you age, you realize, okay, so I'm learning, I've changed, and I continue to teach others as I learn. So that journey becomes exciting. And I think true fun, I might be short here, but true fun begins after 35.
100%. 38, 39 also. 35 might feel like the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Something happens that 40 is when there's just a complete recalibration.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say I'm a year into it, so maybe I should give myself time to be like 40s. But I think you're absolutely right. Something shifts over 35.
Believe me, every segment of your life should be enjoyed.
Yes, it should.
Because it has very specific and very special meaning at the time. Because you also find as you get older, you look back and say, yeah, there are regrets, but there was a time when life was peachy.
Very true.
And then you look back and you say, and you'll keep doing that. It's just the way life is structured and the way it's designed. Yes. And we also designed to regret. We also designed to wish. But I need to ask, do we really learn as human beings?
We must. If you're not learning, you're not changing, you're not improving.
Do we really change?
I believe I do, unless you don't.
I don't need to change.
You don't need to change.
I'm old.
If people don't want to learn, you have to remain teachable.
Yeah.
You have to remain teachable. Yeah, and I think one of the greatest barriers is thinking you've arrived, thinking you know, when every day is a reset, So
The future of real estate investment in the country. Susan.
Yes.
In terms of real estate development in this country, where do we sit for starters?
Well, we are quite developed in terms of Africa, East and Central Africa as well. If you've had the pleasure and the privilege of traveling around our continent, you will realize it's when you get the true value of Nairobi. It's when you get the true value of our country, When you go out there and you realize, oh my God, we've done so much when it comes to infrastructure, when it comes to allowing people to be to be able to invest in real estate, to be able to construct, allowing developers, multiple kinds of developers, both local and international, to come and develop in our country. And when you look at our skyline, it's beautiful. So I believe we're headed towards the right direction. And if we continue with the trajectory we're headed towards, then the future is just very bright.
Very bright.
Should we consider ourselves, should we compare ourselves with our neighbors who have, sort of like struggling to figure out what the 21st century is all about? Or should we look at others who seem to have been way ahead, so that whenever we look at our progress and we appreciate it, we understand that there's still a lot more we need to do?
Of course, as I said, when it comes to learning, we can always learn. And it's always good, even as a country, to learn. So we celebrate where we are right now, but we look at the future knowing that, okay, there's much bigger and better that we can get to. Yes.
When we talk to people who are experts in investment, they only talk about diversifying. Now, people who belong to my age set, we know investment is land.
Well, I used to believe investment is land as well. I'm a millennial. So my parents, as soon as I started working, my parents are like, okay, Kamugoda we must get. You now have a salary. And I resisted. Oh my God, I resisted because I couldn't understand, why am I buying this land? And then my mom, I love you, Mom. My mom called me and says, so your grandma, no, my great-grandma, your great-grandma is selling a piece of property somewhere in Ruiru, and I want you to buy it. And I was like, Mom, I don't even know where Ruiru is. As .com proper. So Nairobi, Najasibidina Westi. And my mom was like, okay, no, you must buy this property. So I went to the bank, I took a loan, and I bought the property. And land was a beautiful thing for me personally, because I reaped the benefits of buying that piece of property. I wish I was more educated at the time on the value of buying land, not with debt, but buying land that you can afford at the time. But it still brought back quite a lot. Now that I have more knowledge on the topic, I do understand that diversification is extremely important. You do not want to buy only one type of property. Let's talk about different types of investments that you can make in the real estate world. I know when people think about real estate, they think land is affordable, which is true. You'll get land. I had the other day, please don't quote me, but I had the other day a ridiculous pricing of like 10,000 bob per acre. And I was like, what?
Where?
That's why I said don't quote me. It was here by say I cannot authenticate it. But I do know pieces of property that are in the 100,000s, you know, that have good titles, good location, etc. But beyond that, when someone thinks about real estate, you think about an apartment and you think how expensive it is and how you can't afford it. So allow me to break down the different ways where you can invest in property. You can invest in real estate as a REIT, which is the real estate investment trusts. Yeah. And right now I know particular REITs that are even doing it at 1,000 bob, you know. So when you're just starting up in life, 1,000 bob here and there once in a while will not cost you much. All right. Then away from that, you can then invest in land, which I know all of us have invested in at some point. Then from there, you can then move on to invest in apartments. And in apartments, you can do two ways. There's the affordable housing, which I believe the government is really pushing and doing its best to assist us to invest in. I know there are enough developers who are also developing good properties that are affordable, especially in the outskirts of Nairobi, where again, good infrastructure has allowed us to be able to live outside of Nairobi. That's making it a little bit easier to invest in those properties. Then you're also looking at your luxury investments. But this you do as you continue to graduate. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So do it slowly, continue. And then away from that now, there's the concept of investing in hotels, hotel apartments. Like we have a hotel that we've constructed, and you can own part of a hotel. It runs as a full-fledged hotel, but you own a piece of it. So again, investment is bit by bit, slowly by slowly, dependent on the capacity you have at the time. Also, when you're looking at investing in things like apartments, think about investing in a developer who is trusted. And as you invest in a developer who is trusted, then you can invest in doing things that are still in development. This way it gives you time to pay for the development. But please do your due diligence. I always tell my clients, investing in a good lawyer might sound expensive right now, but in future, you will reap the benefits. So do your due diligence, get you a good lawyer, get you someone you trust who can assist you to know who a good developer is and what checkboxes you're ticking. So there are multiple ways to invest.
And you speak of trust, especially in these in this space where for a very long time Kenyans have always received the short end of the stick. We know of cases where Kenyans have lost their hard-earned resources, money, and all that in making sure that they at least get a piece of pie when it comes to matters to do with the real estate. And you say invest in a good lawyer and all that, but I'm coming to you and I trust you that you have the you have all the needed requirements. You have good lawyers in there, that you are registered under the law. So as a Kenyan goes through about wanting to invest, what areas should he be looking at?
Now, I just want to understand, you're talking about investing in apartments in ongoing development, correct? All right. So here you're looking at, number one, who is the company? Who's behind the company? Where has this person come from? What kind of character are they? I know it sounds strange to look at the person behind the name, but a name is just a name. A person is there. Two, you want to look at, have these people done other developments, whether by their own name or under someone else? I'll give you an example. When VAAL was starting up, because we were new in the market, we partnered with other well-known developers to work with them, brand with them, promote for them, so that we build our own name. We understand this Kenyan market. So you want to know who the person behind the company is. Number two, don't assume I have the documentation. Please check for yourself. Don't make those assumptions, because assumptions is where people go wrong. Make sure that you've actually tick-boxed those documentation. And that's why I said you want a good lawyer, because a good lawyer will know what documents to look at. You want to be able to run a CR12 to know who are the directors of this company. Because sometimes a face is a face, and then behind that face are 20 other people. But a CR12 will enable you to know who these other 20 people are.
What's a CR12?
Oh, sorry. A CR12 is a legal document that shows you the ownership of a company. And it's something that you can get from the government very, very easily. I think you'll run it from Sharia House. Victor, correct me? Yes. Right. So you'll run it from Sharia House. I don't think it costs you more than 1,000 bob. And you'll be able to get the document that tells you who owns this company. Away from that, the development itself, each development has its own paperwork. Yes, the company has paperwork, but the development has paperwork as well. You might find that it's a joint venture trust, or you might find that it's a direct ownership from these guys. And each project will be named after that project for most developers, and will have its own separate ownership documents. So you want to check the company, you want to check the development. After that, you know who owns this company, then you want to know, have these people delivered anything else? Have they done any other project that I can see with my own eyes? And I can hear from the management, I can hear from the caretaker, what are the problems of this building? What did they do wrong? What did they do right? Number three, you want to know who's managing this building after these guys are gone. I know enough people who cry because, a development was done, the developer malizad, they've sold to you and they've vamoosed. Here you have.
Vamoosed means they disappeared.
He's looking at you like, after this show, Tutaongani you might attend. I really appreciate how you're leading a lot of what you're saying with due diligence and a few other important, because I think people are so into quick wins.
Yes.
We need to also inculcate a culture of patience.
Yes.
I understand why our patience has been one thing just by simply existing in the country we do. But there is something to be said about taking that route, because I can imagine somebody listening or watching thinking, that sounds like a lot. But it really, in the long run, there's a sustenance, because you checked out everything in the beginning. Even the way she's speaking to the management at that building, getting a second opinion, people don't take time to do that, and then they come in and gaslight the entire experience. So is that also something that you walk clients through? Like, listen, I know, I'm so glad you're here and that we're working with you, but this is how we And do you also advise them on sort of the professionals to seek counsel from?
Yes, I always say real estate is not a medical emergency. You don't need to rush into it. Take your time. As a seller, I'll tell you it's gone. And I'll give you that sense of panic. But trust me, if this investment was for you, it will be for you. Take your time. Yes, you can get, when you have a good lawyer, they know the quick stops, and the process is pretty seamless. And we'll introduce you to a set of lawyers so that you're not taking, I'm not directing you to one person, I'm directing you to like 5 people who then you check their character and their vibes. God, how will I explain?
But let me ask a question. Why would one need a lawyer for these transactions? Is it possible to transact without a lawyer?
It's possible, but not advisable.
Why?
Because this is a very big investment. You'll find that real estate for most people is their single largest item on their portfolio, bigger than the money market, bigger than even their savings in their account. If this is as big on your portfolio as it should be, then doesn't it warrant proper due diligence?
Are you saying that I can't do the due diligence myself?
I'm not saying you can't, I'm just not advising it. I'll give you an example. When it comes to constructing, I know enough people who can put up a roof. Yeah? Even you yourself, Google, YouTube will teach you how to do it. But you're not a professional at it. 80% of the time, you will fail. Yeah. So it's better to let those people who've actually learned how to do this on a day-to-day, it's their profession, do it for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to buy a property.
Yes.
There are laws in this country that guide you as to how to buy property. There's a process.
Yes.
Are there different processes for buying property?
No, the structure is pretty much the same.
Precisely,
yes.
Meaning there is a format.
Yes.
Okay? The lawyers who do this thing, they're called conveyancing lawyers or something. So, essentially, if you know what you want, it's a question of understanding now the details of this specific project that you want. The details of the specific property in terms of the tenure. Is it lease? Is it whatever it is that land is supposed to be? Again, I'm asking the question. Lawyers do this on a daily basis, so they're clearly familiar. Yes, it's like me saying I can treat myself, and yet there are doctors who can understand. But land is different.
And Victor Ndegwa, Customer Relations Lead, VAAL Real Estate, has just joined us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
And Victor, when you talk about matters to do with real estate, it is not a space that everyone gets into being ready. Others is because that ad on YouTube looks really good. It's because my mom pushed me into this, or I got a certain milli somewhere that I need to invest. And it is a space where you come in to give assurances. You come in to assure your customers that when you come to us, we will be able to walk you through it for you to see what kind of investments you will get into, because she's listed quite a few, yeah. And as well, we're talking about matters to do with real estate, and Victor Ndegwa, Customer Relations Lead, VAAL Real Estate, Karibu Sana, and Susan Njoka, Indirect Sales Manager, VAAL Real Estate. And I come to VAAL Real Estate. I have gone through the processes that Susan says I go through. Now I meet with Victor. Now, Victor, it is a question of I've done all that, but I still need assurances that apartment, I will see it, that if I'm investing into a REIT system, that I'm assured I will get the returns that I need. So take us through that, because someone who's listening to us right now is like, okay, this is too technical for me to understand. Just break it down for us.
All right. Thank you so much for having me here. So I champion the client relation side on this other side, and just like you said, it's a huge investment that people come and take in when they're taking in real estate. Now we are here to represent the youth, majorly because they are the ones who usually ask so many questions and are usually not very prepared with such things. Now we do, or it's necessary to do something called partnership selling, whereby it's not I'm selling you a complex product. In this time now, we're talking about a lifestyle. And for me to do that, I can't just give it to you or sell it to you. It's not like a trade-off. I have to walk with you through the process. Now, just like Susan mentioned, we have a couple of things that you need to look at, and you have to be ready to do these things, because sometimes the limiting factor is ourselves, in particular. So you have gone through the lawyers, you have gone through Susan, and she's taken you through all the necessary things that you're supposed to do. So now when you come to my side, so now we unravel the whole mystery called real estate. So I will want to also take you to a number of site visits, probably in the specific property, for you to understand what exactly goes down when you talk about construction. We have very many ups and downs. You have so many people. We have so many things going on at the same time. If you do not know, if you have no clue, you might end up asking a lot of questions that will delay your whole process. So I will want to take you through to the site visits. You've never gone to or inside a construction site. This is the time to go. Let's see what the engineers do. Let's see what the support staff do. Let's see what the health insurance guys do there. Let's see what every person does. This is to give you a whole insight of exactly what you got yourself into. All right. After we do that, we will also want to have several question and answer sessions. So I will always be present in the office. Anytime you have something pressing, just call me. Just text me. I will want to engage you thoroughly in this real estate thing. This is the thing. We young people, let me put myself in that category, we like fast wins. And
microwave success.
We like it when we get it fast. And real estate is one of the investment packages that appreciate in value every single day. Now, it doesn't appreciate every single night. That's the thing to capture. So we have to walk through it, and when you walk through it, it's a process. Now, when they say trust the process, they mean there are so many nitty-gritties inside there that you need to understand, but not today. No, you can't grasp everything today. We have to walk through it. So the key thing that we will do after sales, or even during sales, is something we call partnership selling. I'll want to hold your hand. I have been equipped by the company. Now, I trust that you've done your due diligence with my company, because just like Susan said, we might be very nice looking faces, but behind you need to also understand what's happening. I've been equipped with the knowledge to now guide you through this whole process. Hey Victor, do I need a lawyer? Just like we got that very good question. It's a question we get every single time. Like I know how it is. So can we just get through the paperwork? So I'll be the one to tell you, hold your horses. Do you know A, do you know B, do you know C? Can we walk through them? Can we just unravel everything about it? So it's a complex product called a lifestyle. We're selling it to you. Because when you get into the real estate market, trust you me, it is very addictive at the same time. Once an investor, always an investor. Once you get into it, you will find it hard to leave it because it is sweet. And it is very sweet for that matter. So we will want to go through step by step so that you can also make clear guided judgments on this. And after which we do all that, then you will be able to now get the whole fruit of your labor, so to say. Yeah, so that's how I would put it.
You know, every time one mentions real estate, the thing that comes to mind is the number of times you come across stories and articles where people have been given the short end of the stick. And I think that's where you come in now, because you're saying, look, we know that all these things happen and we're giving you a guarantee. What exactly is this guarantee?
Wow. Hello, Maniamkia. I love it. I love it. So, for us as VAAL Real Estate, what we can guarantee you is that we are here for a long time. We have already delivered 3 projects. We have a project that we are delivering next year, and the year after that, and the year after that. We are not only in Kenya, we're in Kenya, Uganda, and Ghana, and our headquarters is in Turkey. In Ghana, we've also delivered a project, and we have other projects that are due for delivery, so our track record will speak for itself. Number 2 is that we are financially stable, which is one of the biggest problems that always precede the downfall of companies. Yeah.
When you say financially stable, what do you mean?
Yes.
What we mean is that we are able to complete our projects, we are able to maintain our staff, and we actually have quite a large staff of over 200 permanent employees and 2,000 temporary or contractual employees. So we are able to sustain that for a long run.
And you mentioned in terms of financial stability, it is a critical it is a critical subject to look at because in terms of doing my due diligence, I need to know who owns the company, the reasons behind it, and financial stability is one thing that comes into focus because I want to know that if I'm investing in you, I will not get the short end of the stick, and that I need you to guarantee me. So in terms of just getting information on financial stability of these institutions, how can I as an investor get that information? Because that is another area where getting information from the banks about someone's financial status is always difficult because it is private.
I'll tell you, when most of us think about getting financial information, you think about getting a statement from a bank. That's what all of us think about, yeah? But when it comes to a developer or real estate investment, you're looking at particular clauses in your sale agreement that then protect you and protect the money that you're giving into, yeah? You're looking at I really don't want to get into the legal part because I'm not a lawyer. Reason why I say for particular investments you should get one, because they're able to spot these particular clauses, and if someone has not added in a clause that protects the money that you're giving them, then you're able to add in those particular clauses that protect you. So when it comes to development, it's more into your sale agreement and the clauses that contain onto that sale agreement, and getting to the point where that sale agreement is actually, stamped by the government and registered with the government. It's a process. Yeah.
I have a question, and maybe you've alluded to it already through what Siti and Dennis have asked. And it might even sound like an obvious or strange question, but a lot of the times people get discouraged just based on the state of current affairs in a country, right? It may discourage them. Maybe they had planned this January, this year is my year for real estate. I mean, June happened, and then there's not just a shift in the country, but there's a shift in confidence, there's a shift in outlook. Again, nobody can predict that, VAAL or any countries. But how do you navigate that if maybe there's a sense of uncertainty or destabilization where people have already given their money, or where people had intentions and now they're drawing back? How do you continue to give that confidence and assurance that despite what's happening, it's still a good idea to invest in real estate? And
I think to just add on what Janet is asking, in terms of just political goodwill in allowing you to do what it is you do, in terms of policies in place, the laws that govern you, how critical is that, together with the question that Janet is asking?
Okay. So any investor who's already invested in real estate will know that when things are looking at a bit unshaky, that's a perfect time to invest. Why? Because people are a little bit more lenient in terms of giving discounts. You get a little bit more for your buck. But again, it's very important what Janet is asking. As a first-time investor or even a second-time investor, you want to know that my money is safe. I'm not just giving this and then a law comes in and just destabilizes everything. That's why you want a partner, number one, who understands public participation. Every law that comes into governing comes under public participation. And we as VAAL have friends, in the development world. And we're always talking, we're always getting to know what's going on your side, what's going on my side. How can we assist the government to ensure that we are headed in the right direction? And it's a really good thing that now the government is also doing housing. So they are looking at some of these laws. They're headed in the right direction. They will continue. I want to believe so. But back to the question. So we are always trying to find better ways to serve our clientele and give them that comfort of the money that you're giving us is safe and we'll always give it back. So when it comes to even our offer letters, because you'll do an offer letter before you go into your sale agreement so that you can see the basic terms of your sale agreement before, you get in bed with us. In ile nakupeleka date before sasa nikukatie proper.
That's a really good way to put it. Think of it like a date.
Yeah. So in that document, we'll always have cancellation clauses and clear terms of how your money is gonna be handled and how you get it back if you decide, okay, I don't want to get into bed with you guys anymore, or something has changed, because things change. Yeah. I'll give you a story of when I joined VAAL. When I joined VAAL, there was a gentleman who had a fire, a horrible fire. It still tears me up till today. And he had invested with us. It was really difficult for him. And then the company just said, you know what? Take the money back. We are canceling. Here you go. And right now he's doing amazing. Can you imagine? And for a company to decide, we wouldn't bind you to the contract. We wouldn't bind you to anything. We wouldn't take a shilling from you. Here you go. You go and do what you need to do. So you want a company that understands values. It's not just business. It's value.
Okay.
It's family.
Can I also get money if I'm anticipating a fire?
Well, no. This was something that we had verified. People had gone there, etc.
City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me get to this. Yeah. If you consume lots of YouTube or even social media right now, you realize a lot of real estate companies are using influencers pretty much to sell these properties in London. And someone seated at the periphery would ask, even just from listening to what it is we're talking about, can I trust a realtor or an investments company that is using influencers to sell property?
Influence tumekukosea wapi? Sorry. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm joking.
But I would assume then is that the influencer, that's precisely what they're doing.
Yeah.
They are highlighting this matter for you, but it doesn't detract or remove from the due diligence that you're supposed to do. But the influencer, because they are known, you are now aware. You now have knowledge that this thing.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's not the end of the story. That's actually the beginning of the story.
Exactly.
Yes.
And influencers are just another channel of marketing, and they're brilliant at it. You want to we go to influencers because Janet's network is not my network, and there are people in Janet's network who've never heard of me, who I know if I come to her and we do business together, they will hear about me, come to me, and we follow the same process. Yes. The mistake we do at the end of the day is what Victor said. We like our microwave wings. You say, oh my God, Nani said we buy, so we buy. And you fall down that trap.
Dennis, can I ask you a question?
Yes, ask.
There's something you were getting at when you mentioned influencers. Is there anything adverse that you have heard mentioned that has arisen from influencers being used to market, say, things like real estate?
Actually, Mama J, who's listening to us, is asking, there are many realtors using social media influencers to sell property. Can they be trusted? So it is just her as well seeking assurances in terms of who do I go to? I've seen Assetto is pushing for this, but do I go to Assetto or do I come to VAAL so that I follow through the processes?
Assetto should introduce you to VAAL.
Thank you.
Yes. At the end of the day, you want to be transacting with the actual property owner and not a second party or a third party. Because in real estate, you'll find that I know enough transactions where Janet was introduced to Susan, who knows Victor, who knows City, who knows the owner of the property, but that's not how it should be. It should be a direct introduction. Here's the property owner. As agents, they are catered for separately, so it should not interfere with your business in any way.
So I hear you say, what I'm hearing you say is, at the end of the day, businesses will always advertise, and they will use those who have contacts and have a wider reach. But it is incumbent upon the client to follow the due process so that they go through the relevant processes that are needed before they get into these huge investments that you're talking about. Now, Victor, when you talk about, finally, now you're talking about the youth, and the youth will say, ntapiga sherehe leo, nitaenda kwa VAAL the other time. But in terms of just sitting them down, in terms of look at what the government is doing with regard to affordable housing, we are here to offer you this lifestyle as well that is here. In terms of just bringing the youth into this entire conversation on investing into real estate, how critical is it in terms of looking at what the future holds?
It is very, very, very critical, considering the fact that, number one, the youth, just like real estate, will have to move in tandem for them to be the future of this country. I've loved that discussion of influencers, because we've also talked about it at length, especially on my side of client relations. Something I wanted to add to Susan is, on top of what she said, influencers help us break down the information according to how the consumer wants to hear it. I might say things here in some certain jargon, but when I go to Janet, she'll speak to her audience in the right jargon that they get it, and so that helps us demystify a lot of things. It is very integral for not only the youth but all the masses to understand what they're getting into in this whole thing called real estate. It's very important for them to follow the due processes. It is very important for them not to want to skip any point. Some of them are very rigorous, I'll be very honest. Some of them are also very tedious, because like you mentioned, when you have the knowledge, you will want to, quote unquote, want to evade the lawyer. You know, it's a lot of things you want to evade, but that's also human nature, and we also understand that. So that's why we will advise you to have a lawyer outside, but it's also good to have someone on the inside. Now, coming back to the issue of navigating the political instabilities and whatever is happening in the country, especially to our clientele outside the country, because these things matter a lot to diasporians. We have a wide base of clientele, and we'll have the locals, we have the foreigners, and we have the diasporians. They are very important in our market. We will try and communicate what's happening. It's very important for them to also have an inside person, and that's where I come in. We just try and snip it down to very nice chewable pieces of information for you to grasp, so that in as much as we are having the Gen Z's mandamanos and all that, at the end of this side, I'm also able to tell you, yes, by the way, this is not anything political. This is not anything that is going to sway your real estate investment. So stay put. We're still on. You will also need your lawyer at that point. So it is very integral, and it's very important for us to move in tandem. If the real estate market is growing, it appreciates every year. Right now, I think annually you're talking about, I think from 5.18%, I guess, per year in terms of growth in the real estate sector. And if we, the youths, are going to be left out, or if the guys, our mentors like City here, are left out, it's going to be a very huge loophole coming in the future. And so we need to move in that tandem. So it's very important, to be honest. It's very
Why
critical.
must I be
I was waiting for that. She's like, you called me a what?
And that's why I use the word mentor.
Why can't you be a mentor?
No, of course we will, and we are.
There's a reason why I say this. Huh?
Yeah.
We have a youth bulge in this country, and the vast majority of the citizens are youth. The vast majority
Are the youth. And yes, indeed, a majority are the youth, and it is a conversation that must continue. And Victor Ndegwa and Susan Njoka are from VAAL Real Estate. Be sure to talk to them in matters investment.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.